All right, everybody, welcome to the second Thursday night show of the 2024 season. We got Bills, we got the Dolphins, but
Good game.
I have
Good
a
game
good
tonight.
I have a good feeling. I have a very good feeling there's going to be a couple of rants that are non-Bills Dolphins related. So, I guess what do you guys want? Because we said we weren't going to do group therapy, but I think we're doing group therapy. So, do
We're
you
good now, so we have to do
do you
group.
do
Like
you
we
want to
care.
do that? Do we want to take care of our mentals first and then talk about the outsiders, or what do you want to do, boys?
10 minutes and we'll never talk about it again. This is the divisional
Oh,
game,
we're
boys.
going
This
to
is
talk
what.
about it again. Basino's going to
Yeah.
bring it up every week.
No, I
This is
can
the
He's
only
going to
bring
bring
it.
it
important
up
game for
Sunday.
us.
He's going to bring it up Sunday, that piece
Win,
of shit.
win. I'm winning. I got nothing to say. Just win. You can't win, and we got stuff.
The
to
only
say.
thing I'm gonna say is that we were outcoached and we were outclassed. We got ran over by a backup running back, which made me upset, like really, really upset. I thought Quinn Williams and the defensive front was a lot better than that, but I guess not. But we got to do something about the Hackett situation. Run, pass, punt. That's the name of the game. That's what we saw on Monday night. And against a team like the 49ers, that's just not going to work. They're a good team. This is the NFC champions that we played. We lost. It sucks, but, I'm not overreacting until Sunday. Sunday dictates my mood moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way.
I don't. Okay, so you should preface this with Jerry and Anthony are talking about the New York Jets. For those of our viewers that tune in from outside of the tri-state area, I don't think it was really that bad. I don't. I think if I'm a Jets fan, I'm upset with my defense. Right, that was supposed to be the stalwart of this team. That was supposed to be the rock of this team. But at the same rate, like keep in mind, this is what you just say, Jerry. This is the team that won the NFC. This is the team that took the Chiefs in the Super Bowl into overtime. Like this was not a slapdick team. You didn't go out and look like the New York Giants or the
Hardest
Carolina
game on the
Panthers.
schedule. Hardest
Absolutely,
game on
that's
the schedule
probably
for
your
the
hardest
season.
game in the schedule. I would agree. So, like, you guys didn't get blown out. It didn't look pretty. I think Rodgers, the arm is still there. The legs are very much so not there. And I think if you could, as a Jets fan, if you could take off the rose-colored glasses, Father Time is 100% showing himself in Rodgers, but the arm is there. The arm and the touch is there. You saw it on the Lazard touchdown, and you saw it on the Lazard sideline pass. That was phenomenal, right? So if the Jets could find a way to protect him, and I don't know, I'm not an NFL coach, but maybe that guy, that 315-pound man, 330-pound man you just drafted from Penn State, maybe you could take a page out of the Lions book and some of these other great teams, the 49ers, and come out in a jumbo and protect this quarterback and give him just a little more time and fake out the run with that great running back you've got back there. And you could set up for a great Rodgers pass up the middle, up the sideline. You could do a lot more with what you've got. Like the Jets have a very good roster. Are there holes? Yes. And every team has holes. So for me, and I agree with you guys, for me, the blame is on Nathaniel Hackett. That was your game plan against walking into San Francisco Monday night. That was your game plan. That
Over-reliance
standard
on Brees.
vanilla offense. That was it. And of course, I shouldn't be surprised because I can't stand Nathaniel Hackett. I think you guys can't stand him either. But you got Olu Fashanu back there. I'm not asking him to play right or left tackle. I'm asking for him to come out in a jumbo. I'm asking for him to come out as a tight end and block. Right? Like that's a starting tackle in the NFL. You've got sitting on that bench. Call him out to block.
Look, you could argue that the offense was a little plain Jane. They punted 3 times. The NFL average is 4. So they punted less. They did turn it over, but
that was not Rodgers' fault. That was not Rodgers' fault.
It wasn't. Look.
Shame on Garrett Wilson. Shame on Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, it went through his hands. We talked about that.
As bad as it was, you have to look at how much time the 49ers defense was spending on the sideline. They barely played. They're healthy, man. They're ready to go. They could have played a second game. They could have played 8 quarters, that defense. That's how little they played. And I mean, they played less than 30.
The time of possession was like heavy 49ers, was it not?
It was insane.
We got dominated.
It was so bad that it was probably turn-offable. But if you look at the team stats, The 49ers had the ball for 38 minutes and 40 seconds. The Jets had the ball for 21. It's insane. It actually was one of the hardest games to watch. You knew what the outcome was going to be. And you know what the problem is, man? Robert Saleh knows Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan knows Robert Saleh. And Robert Saleh looked like he had no idea who Kyle Shanahan was. That is so alarming. The Jets probably win 12 games this year. The Jets have no shot winning 4 games in a row in the postseason with this head coach. They're going to have to get lucky, and it is what it is. I'm still hopeful. I still think that they could turn it around. It was week 1. They didn't play in the preseason, yada, 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 missing Reddick, bad game plan, learn from your mistakes. But look, man, if you're going to go up against Andy Reid, and then you're going to go up against
John Harbaugh.
Do we play the
Harbaugh.
Chiefs?
I'm saying in the playoffs to get there.
The
And then
playoffs,
what? And then you're going to get to the Super Bowl, and you're going to have to go up against either Shanahan again or Ben Johnson. I don't know, guys. There's a lot of questions. It's week 1. Who knows? A lot of Super Bowl teams lose week 1. Saw it last year. Probably see it half the time. So I'm not going to just completely say the Jets are out of it. But the Jets they have to
listen,
work on
But that was the name of the game. That was the name of the game on Sunday. Was that
You watching this show or what?
a lot of people just didn't play well. You know, because of the whole. We saw it with the Lions, dude, with Goff and your starters.
Yeah.
It didn't look great.
Yeah.
Jerry, was that the intercom at your job? That's awesome. That's fucking awesome. Shout out to the boys. Can we say the town or we can't say the town?
I
won't say the town.
Let's not. Yeah.
Shout out to Jerry's boys. Jerry, you in an engine company or you're in a truck
Yeah,
company?
I'm on.
Oh, Jerry's big on that hose. Listen, I don't think anything is doom and gloom when it comes to this Jets team. Honestly, it looked to me like typical week 1. Okay, it was, and I think it looks worse because the 49ers were just not sloppy at all. The 49ers looked like they were in midseason form. And I don't think that that's a shot at the Jets. That's just how well coached the 49ers
Dude, they're
are.
that good. They've been to 6 Super Bowls in 10 years. They're that good.
They are a tremendous organization. They have a tremendous coaching staff. The weak link, right? The Fredo in that room is Nathaniel Hackett. I am by no means an offensive guru. I dig holes for a living, and I talk about football for free on YouTube for an hour a couple times a week. I just think that if you had a halfway decent offensive coordinator, you would have had a shot in that game. And it's so
you just got to get creative.
This is a double
to
digit.
be creative.
Absolutely, and it's a double-digit win Jets team. I firmly believe that. There's a Jets team that could win 10 or more games. There's no doubt about it. But Nathaniel Hackett scares the shit out of me. He's a liability. He's a fucking liability.
I'm going to say this right now. One of the two, not both, one of the two does not make it to January. Whether it be Hackett or Saleh, someone's going.
If this season does not turn, what do you mean in January?
We just.
If you're going to fire Hackett, it's before January.
You think so? All right. Well, that's what I mean. There's that runway. It could be.
If
November.
you're firing
before
this guy,
January.
yeah. The season ends first week of January. If you're firing him after the season, that means the season.
I would say the sweet spot's going to be Thanksgiving.
Yeah, if Rodgers wants him gone, he's gone. Because Rodgers is the only reason he's there. Nathaniel Hackett should not have an NFL career anymore, period. Right? The disaster that he created in Denver speaks for itself. So, how many head coaches do we know in this league got fired their second year? What was it, by week 5, week 6? It was before, or
he
maybe
got fired his first year, I think week 9. It was not good.
It wasn't his first year.
No,
He coached the full year. Didn't he coach
one
the full
full
year?
I think.
He coached a full season in Denver. He didn't.
Didn't get through a full year.
Jesus Christ! I thought it was his second year.
Nope. Well, the problem is that the expectation, I think, was Rodgers, and then they got Russell Wilson, and it shit the bed, and there was no answer. And I don't think he's really head coach material. I think they just thought they were going to get Rodgers, and it didn't work out. Hackett has some cons, but I'll tell you what one thing that's good about Hackett is. He's going to try to formulate a game plan that's going to help Rodgers, and Rodgers knows that. And Rodgers knows he doesn't need to call the plays, Hackett. Rodgers is calling the plays at the line of scrimmage. So, especially, oh my God, the Titans coming up, it's not going to be an issue for this team. These tougher defenses and these better offenses where you really got to be perfect, yeah, they're going to run into some trouble. But not for the next few weeks. They should win a few games in a row here. And then people will kind of forget about the Niners game until the next good opponent. They'll have to play well against Buffalo to kind of get rid of the 49ers.
100%. This is now, I didn't overreact. This is the window we have now. And I don't want to turn this into a fucking Thursday night Jets show. I want to move on and talk about tonight's game because I think it's a compelling matchup. But the Niners game is behind us. It's done. It's over with. Best team on our schedule. It is what it is. We play the Titans. We play the
Patriots,
Vikings, and we play the Patriots.
Patriots after the Titans, yeah.
And then
Thursday night
Vikings.
football. Next Thursday. 1 week from today, the Jets will be playing the Patriots on Thursday night football.
Yeah, so it's Titans, Pats, Vikings. Those are three very, very winnable games. And those are three opponents that we need to not only beat the shit out of. And if we don't, it's going to start then Mad Dog's rant. I don't know if you guys saw Chris Russo's rant, but then it will be justified. And then it's time to – if we drop one of those games, it's time to overreact because those are all three opponents that we need to beat. All three looked okay for week one, but we need to be a better team than all three of them.
Yeah, they have to beat the brakes off of them.
I love a good Richie Aprile reference. I love that. All right, let's get into tonight.
Yeah.
We got Buffalo in Miami to play the Dolphins. I did not know that Josh Allen was dealing with a fucked up non-throwing hand. I don't know how much that affects things. I never played quarterback, obviously. Look at the size of me. But you have to imagine Buffalo's going to put up. I mean, listen, I'll say this about Buffalo last week. I thought they were dead in the water. I had the back TV had Red Zone, front TV was Titans Bears, but Red Zone was showing a heavy dose of Buffalo, Arizona. Arizona was taking it to them in the beginning. They were one of the three teams. Speaking of which, Jesus Christ, Facino, one of the three teams that had a comeback. What the fuck was that from Jacksonville? But that's we'll talk about that after.
Yeah.
Allen kind of, from what it looked like from Red Zone, took the game over. Took the game kind of into his own hands. Rushed for two, threw for two. I actually did not even have the Bills winning the AFC East this year. I thought they were going to take a massive step back. I mean, either could just be week one. Could be that the Bills are better than we thought. Could be that Arizona is better than we thought. What do you guys think?
I think Arizona is a little bit better than we thought. But I also think the Bills took a step back, and I think that they're going to need hero ball from Josh Allen more often than not this year. And I don't know if they'll get it. Honestly, I think Josh Allen,
I know they'll get it.
Look, they'll get it, but for how long? I mean, look, Josh Allen has been healthy, and it's been incredible that he's been able to stay healthy because of the hits that he takes and the type of player he is. He's really, I mean, I think he's the best player in the NFL. I think Mahomes has the best, team and coordinators and scheme around him, but I think Josh Allen's the best actual football player in the NFL. Maybe you could, argue Myles Garrett, different positions. Josh Allen's the most important piece. And, you play hero ball like that. Anthony Richardson's, Cam Newton got knocked out. These guys that play like him, getting through another 17 games the odds are probably against him. It's unsustainable. And I hope that for his sake, he doesn't run as much. Are you going to drop a few games here and there? Yeah. But at least you'll be able to fight in the playoffs and get there and be healthy. So
how long has he been told, though, by his own head coach, by the media, by the fans, you've got to stop running. You're going to get yourself hurt. Mm-hmm. But like that leads to results with these Bills teams. Like
that it does, but he's getting older now. This is his 7th year in the league. I get it. By, and like listen, you said with that Rodgers, waits for nobody.
We've said it about Lamar, right? But like, if you took Lamar's legs away from him, he's not he's not even in the conversation of MVP. Like
Lamar's
what makes
adjusted
him
his game though.
No, Lamar is great. He's turned himself into a very good passer. I'm not taking anything away from Lamar, but like what makes him a threat is those legs, right? Because when you're playing defense, you're not accounting for the quarterback, right? You're trying to defend the pass. You're not worried about him leaving the pocket, right? Like there was I think I've said this on the show before. There was a statistic that came out years ago that said if a quarterback rushes for 3 first downs a game, that team wins generally 72% of the time. Right? And that doesn't mean like rushing for 100 yards. It doesn't mean putting on a Mike Vick highlight reel. It just means rushing for three first downs in a game, because that's 3 pivotal moments in a game where the defense was not accounting for you, and you just move the chains.
That's how the Giants made the playoffs in 2022.
It's also that stat is so important because when does your quarterback run? He's running on third down. He's not running on first down. And those are drive extenders, third down. You complete 3 more third downs, regardless of how you do it. It kills defense, and it gives you the ability to to move down the field. Nowadays, I mean, you're starting at the 30, 35 almost every time, unless you're the Jets. Somehow the fucking Jets couldn't get past the 20 to start, like every time. Every other game, honestly. Every other game, they were kicking out of the end zone starting at the 30, or the guys are turning it back to like the 35-40. The Jets game, they could barely get past the 20. It's really remarkable. But, nowadays you're starting at the 30, 2 first downs, and your kicker that can kick it from 55 is giving you points. So you don't even really need to move the ball that far anymore. It's becoming an easier game for the offense, for sure. So we'll see what Josh Allen does. It's also Thursday, so there's no time to prepare.
Facino, you watched. I'm gonna assume you watched all the Jacksonville Miami Week 1 game.
Yeah.
What happened without getting into Jacksonville, because we'll get into that toward the end of the show, because the Dolphins are playing tonight. Was this a Dolphins were resilient and they came back, or Jacksonville shit down their leg?
I'm an objective fan. I'm a 2-teamer, so I can have more objective, approaches to what I've seen. I watched that game from start to finish. I watched a Jaguar team get tired and exhausted, and at the end of that game, they couldn't tackle. There's guys that were cramping up. One of the guys blew his hamstrings. Their best corner, Tyson Campbell, he's out for 4 weeks now on the IR. Cisco was getting stretched out on the field, a few times. What happened is the Dolphins borderline cheat. They built the stadium properly because you have your own advantage. When it's 105 degrees on the field, and the opponent is sitting in that 105 degree weather with a black helmet on, and you're all white because the home team gets to pick their uniform. They're just sitting in a white helmet, white shirt, white pants, white cleats, basically white socks. It's like it gets to the point where should the NFL step in and in these September games not allow the Dolphins to wear white? Because genuinely, I felt bad for the Jaguars. I looked at that game. I said, Jaguars can't win this game. As soon as Etienne fumbled, it was over. That team.
You know why I think
too
your argument's
much
null
water.
and void? You know why I think your argument's null and void? They're a Florida team too.
Yeah, but that's not the same.
They do.
No.
It doesn't matter, Jerry.
Wait. We're making excuses. You're making excuses for professional athletes. And like the Lions, who never play the Dolphins. I was at the game in 2018. What did they do? They literally brought their own tents and fucking missed fans to keep the players cool. Like everybody knows about what goes on in Miami. Everybody knows how that stadium was designed. Not only do the Dolphins play there, the Miami Hurricanes play there on Saturday afternoons, and college teams deal with the same fucking shit. Bullshit. You're a professional athlete. Hydrate yourself, and you're a professional organization. Take care of your fucking players.
That's fair. You could say
Bullshit.
the Jaguars staff and management wasn't prepared, but I mean, when you watch that game, watch it tonight. Go to NFL Plus, watch the replay. That team was a completely different team, and I don't think it had to do with skill. I think it had to do with they lost, an extra gallon of water than the Dolphins did. And yeah, you play in Jacksonville, that's fine, but no matter where you're playing, if you're sitting in 20 degrees hotter atmosphere than the opponent, and the opponent's wearing an all white uniform, there is an advantage. And you saw that in that Jaguar game. The Jaguars were clearly the better team. The Jaguars beat the piss out of them. All of a sudden in the fourth quarter, They couldn't cover. They couldn't tackle.
But that's nonsense
sad.
because everybody goes to Green Bay or Chicago in the winter. If you're a team like Jacksonville and you're practicing in 65 and sunny, and they decide to practice outside because they know it's going to be a wintry mix Sunday. No, it's
in Green Bay. If it's 20
these guys
degrees,
are
it's
professionals.
degrees. Everybody's there.
Half of the roster
time.
in Jacksonville probably grew up in Mississippi, Alabama, California, Texas, or Florida. They've dealt with that heat without any of the shit these NFL guys have. No way. You're a professional, and you're a professional organization. You should have known that going in. Bullshit.
Well, look, I'll tell you what. If the Jaguars played the Dolphins in December, they beat them bad.
Yeah, because the Dolphins forget how to play football after Thanksgiving.
I think if the Minnesota Chiefs play the Dolphins in December,
dude, every single year the Dolphins go undefeated at home for the most part through September and half of October. I'm telling you, look, tonight the Bills get to play them at night. The Bills are going to beat them. The Bills are going to beat them most likely. If they don't, it's because maybe they get some big chunk plays from Hill or HN. Okay. But I'm telling you, like when you go down and you watch, they were panning out, every quarter, every commercial timeout, and you just see the discrepancy of how. Oh, they're right in the sun. Is sitting in the sun. Yeah. It's a 20 to 25 degree difference. You could plan for that all you want, but they're playing in a different environment. Although it's on the same field, they're playing in a different environment. If it was a blowout, I'm not even talking about it. But when you have the lead and you can see it slowly slipping and you know that there's no way you're going to win this game because these guys are gassed, it sucks. It sucks because they had to play the Dolphins in 105 degrees in September, and no other team got that game. So if the Jaguars were home, they beat the piss out of them. They weren't. They were the away team. They lost. And the only thing I can contribute to that is the heat. The Jaguars did lose, and it's their fault. And good for the Dolphins. They won. Great. I just think that I just step in, NFL. Step in, and if you're going to have that field, allow the away team to wear white. Just let it. I thought you were a league of parity. You have a salary cap. You have draft picks that are decided through how you do with the season prior. You know, why is this something where you're just going to let a team completely take advantage year after year?
You could probably lead a revolution in a Slavic country 60 years ago. I thought that joke would have hit harder. Okay.
Well,
I really thought that joke would have hit harder. Bills are at 120 money line. Over-unders at 48.
Love it.
You love
the
it?
Bills here. Love the Bills here. Love the Bears here.
I'm saying you love it like I didn't just fucking put money in FanDuel and take Bills money line myself.
If you look at the trends from this past Sunday, and I know it's week one and a lot of fuck shit's going on right now. Plus 2.5 was winning. The Cowboys plus 2.5 against the Browns for reasons I do not know. A couple other teams were plus 2.5 who I don't know off the dome right now. I tried to do some research earlier, but they all hit. And it's weird. These are the trends you have to pay attention to when you're gambling. This is what I noticed. And if this is wrong tonight, I'll eat my words. Granted, hand up. I have an insured bet from FanDuel tonight, so it's whatever. But when you look at stuff like that, these are things you have to pay attention to, which leads me to believe the Bills are going to win tonight. Not to mention, if you look at the matchup from the most recent, somebody put it in one of my handicap group chats, the Bills are like 9-1 in the Dolphins' past 10. Hold on, it's right here. Head-to-head, 9-1 against the Bills are 9-1 against the Dolphins head-to-head in the past 10. So that's reason to take that plus money. That's big time plus money that I love on the board. It's nuts. But you got to keep in mind that early on in Josh Allen's supremacy, the Dolphins were kind of dog shit before Tua kind of figured it out and Hill went down there and everything. Before Mike McDaniel got there, the Dolphins were dog shit when they were still kind of figuring out their woes. And the Dolphins owned them, and they started to come into their own. And you could see, if you look at the trend for the past 10, the scores got closer and closer, but the Bills are still coming on top. There's that. And you know what else I love tonight that's really surprising to me? And this is strictly off of something I watched on Instagram, the under 48.5. For some reason, tonight's referee, the under hit, when this guy is refereeing tonight, his name's like Bill something, I think. I don't know. When the home team is favorites by like 2.5 or more, the under hits 70% of the time. I like those odds. I'm going to give it a shot. Again, my bet's insured, so don't take what I'm saying. I'm not a gambling expert. This is not gambling advice. This is just showing you what I have on my phone right now for legal purposes. But that being said, that's what I like, and I think we'll see what happens. That and I have Tyreek to score.
I don't like the over-under in this game.
I never really.
If this was a Sunday, if this was like a Sunday 4:25 or a Sunday 1 o'clock, I would say I'd hammer the over. For some reason, Thursday night overs and unders like
Sundays, Sundays, prime time unders.
Prime time unders. Yeah. Well, the past 2 years. I mean, last year alone. Last year, I remember like that was a
Sunday
major
night
concern.
football. Sunday night football, I believe.
Dude, last year as a whole in the NFL, the under hit like last year in the NFL, the under hit like 60% of the time, which is wild. Which is either the books are overrating these games, or
it could be that.
No, you know what it is. If the under's hitting, you know why? No one's betting the under. Everybody takes the over. It's way more fun.
Yeah. It's so much more.
I think
fun.
they take advantage of it. They're taking.
You got to go with the sharps. You got to go with the sharps here. You got to think smarter, not harder.
Yeah,
I hate rooting for unders, but fuck it, here we are.
Yeah, it's also scoring's down over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, teams have a hard time scoring now, so.
Which is wild because all the rules favor the offense. The referees favor the offense. Everything, the entire game is designed for teams to score more.
Yeah, but there's a reason why. It's because edge rushers are becoming absolute freakazoids, and you can't block anybody anymore. Like a good lineman still can barely block anybody. It's unbelievable.
You know what else I think it is? Honestly, I was thinking about this. I'm going to go on a little rant. You guys remember the AAF? Like
the most recent one?
It was not
football?
most recent. It was like 5 years ago.
Three fake leagues ago.
Okay.
The XFL, the AFL, and then the
So the AAF was
the American Alliance of Football.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alliance of American Football.
Yeah.
Their commissioner was Bill Polian. If anyone who doesn't know who Bill Polian is, he's still alive. He was the general manager of the Colts when they won that Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. I know recently was on NFL radio. I don't know what he does now. He's probably retired. He's an old man. Point was the league was not structured to compete with the NFL in any way. Obviously, it was in the spring. The idea of it, or I think his idea of it, was he wanted it to be a developmental league for guys that needed just a little more time, that had the talent, had the raw ability to get into the NFL, but they needed just a little more time, right? And if you think of a guy like Kurt Warner, right? Kurt Warner's story is so famous and so interesting because he was bagging groceries before he got to the NFL, but people forget he went and played in the Arena League, and then the Rams took him and sent them to Europe for a season. And that made a world of a difference for him. And the league was structured in that I think you were limited to how many guys could blitz on any given defensive play. And they did that because they knew the offensive line play was going to be so bad. And they really wanted to develop these quarterbacks. The problem within the NFL right now is that college programs, and Tom Brady's talked about this too, college programs used to be, it was always about winning, but you wanted to develop guys, specifically quarterbacks, right? You wanted them to know, hey, this is just a little taste of what the NFL is. And if you're that good, you'll see for yourself. But it was about developing them. And nowadays in college, with these spread offenses and these offenses that just don't survive in the NFL, the air raid, all those things, it's purely about winning games, getting that bonus, getting to a bowl game so you get that bonus, and keeping your job. And I don't blame these coaches, right? Because if Georgia hires you, or if you're Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, and you're superseding, what's his face, Nick Saban. You're superseding Nick Saban. Like, no one cares what the fuck your offense is. They care about, hey, did you win a national championship? Because Saban brought us whatever it was, 5, 6. Like, are you going to bring us one? That's what they care about. And I think the problem, Facino, these pass rushers are great. I think the problem is that there's very little development of the quarterback. And these quarterbacks are coming to the NFL, and they're a deer in headlights. and they're getting killed, and they can't read a defense. They have no synergy with their offensive line and their receivers, and it's just, there's no development. It is purely in college about dumbing down offenses, and it's about speed, and it's about getting it to a track star that wears number 81 or nowadays 13 or 1 or 0, 90 yards down the field and scoring that quick touchdown. That's what the college game has kind of turned into, as entertaining as it is, and it's bleeding into the NFL, and I believe that is what's killing the NFL. If you were not killing the NFL, but it's what's killing the quarterback play. If you remember when we were kids, which was not that long ago, think of a decade ago, right? Think of a decade ago, Facino, right? When you would you'd come into school on a Monday.
Breeze,
we had exactly
Brady,
Rivers, Stafford,
Rivers, yep.
right? You had
I could fix it in a heartbeat, though. All you gotta do is move the hashes back in a little bit more. The hashes are way too wide, and it allows these guys to just spread out way too much, in my opinion.
In college,
yeah. They have too much of the field to work with. In the NFL, you don't. You pretty much.
I have another
30 yards.
solution. I have another solution. Stop overrating these quarterbacks. Stop drafting them first round because they're not first round picks. Will Levis was not a second round pick. All right.
No.
We're gonna see it with Shedeur. We're gonna see it with Shedeur.
Shedeur Sanders is gonna go top 10, and he's not a top 10 pick. And it's not a knock on Shedeur. It's not a knock on Shedeur. I think if Shedeur sat back with a clipboard for 2 or 3 years, right, or even just one season, that would do a lot for him. But the rush is that you draft these kids, you've got to throw them into the fire as early as possible because you have to see where your return is, because in 2 or 3 years, if things aren't going the way you wanted, you're going to throw them out and look for another one. For example, prime example, Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns, you had a fine quarterback. There was nothing wrong with Baker Mayfield, and you went out and you brought in Deshaun Watson, who was an absolute disaster, and look at where the Bucks are and look at where the Browns are. Okay, and I'm not saying the Bucks are world beaters, but you know what? They've got their quarterback situation figured out, and they're pretty fucking confident. They are pretty fucking confident about it. And Cleveland has everything but a quarterback, and you know what? Probably won't win more than 7 games this year because of it. You had to call up Joe Flacco last year, and nothing against Joe Flacco. Joe, God bless you. You brought a playoff. Actually, no, they didn't win that playoff game, but you brought Cleveland to the playoffs. God bless you. Nothing wrong with Joe Flacco, but like, this is the fucking problem in the NFL.
Yeah, well, the one thing that the Browns do is they usually have a decent backup. I actually would prefer that the team move to Jameis Winston at this point.
100%.
Yeah.
I think they should cut. I think they should cut Deshaun Watson. Enough is enough with these.
I think after what this most recent news story is, I think he's gone. I think like you said, give him his money. You made a mistake. Eat the loss. Play Jameis.
Yeah, goodbye. It's enough.
Get the circus away from
I don't think he'd ever get another job in the NFL. I think he'd be done.
I think it's over.
He's done. You know what, though? There are so many clauses in that contract for them to get out of paying him. Not just for them to get out of paying him. I think to take the money off of the books, I believe. I don't know if that's true, but I know they can get out of paying him. If, like for example, if one more woman steps forward and accuses him.
After this most recent.
Well,
there's another one?
Eyewitness News said that
there was one like 2 days ago, yeah.
And they said that she's going to meet with NFL officials, and her lawyer teases that he has video evidence.
Okay.
Which
so that's the end
I
of the
don't want to say that. I don't even know if I should probably say this, but I have a question. You know, why if again, we don't victim shame or anything like that here. You know, God bless this woman for what she's gone through and whatnot, but why is there a video? I still kind of do believe this is a little bit of a sting operation to take down Deshaun for that whole Texas situation, but like, you know, you can't excuse it at this point, but like, why are you taking videos of this? You know, or is it like security cam footage? And from what I read, she was in the apartment. Whatever, you know, let's not get into it.
I think it was her apartment.
I
if it's her apartment and there's a video, he won't be playing Sunday. Or maybe he won't be playing after Sunday ever again. And that's fine. I'm good with that.
Yeah, good riddance.
Not only
good fucking riddance because he's a bad person.
With Tyreek Hill, he plays. And why does he play? Because he's good. He could beat his wife. Mm-hmm. He could speed and talk back to cops and hit his kids. And the NFL doesn't give a shit. I would suspend Tyreek Hill. I would have suspended Tyreek Hill just because any NFL player going over 100 miles an hour now after what happened to Henry Ruggs and what happened to Rashee Rice, everybody should just get a 1-game suspension. Immediate. It should just be immediate.
I heard he was driving 60 miles an hour.
I don't know. I don't care. If he was going 100, he should have been suspended. If he wasn't, then fine, whatever, it doesn't matter. But if you're going too fast, there should be a repercussion. With Deshaun Watson, you ain't good enough to beat, to continue to play anymore. And that's just it is what it is.
Maybe 5 years ago, pre-pandemic, Deshaun Watson, but this day, absolutely.
Well, it's a major fall from grace because you're talking about a guy that was literally on top of the NFL. He was a top 5 quarterback.
Does he have an MVP? He doesn't have an MVP.
No. I think he got MVP votes. I believe.
I think he was a third MVP in 1 year.
But it's a fall from grace. Like this was a guy that was undoubtedly top 5, top 3.
Let's watch that show.
He was putting up Rodgers numbers, actually. He had a 4,800-yard, 33-touchdown, 7-pick season, and then he had the sexual assault thing going.
Yeah.
After that year. It's insane.
He got, quote of the night, he got that sexual assault thing going. That's not funny.
Pathetic.
I got to bounce. I'll let you guys finish this up. I got to bounce. You have my picks. Buffalo's winning this game. I'll see you on Sunday.
Thank you, Jerry. We'll see you Sunday, 11 a.m.
Yeah, it's sad what happened to him. I liked him. I thought he was a great quarterback coming out. I wanted the Jaguars to take him at 4 overall that year. They took Fournette. I thought it would have been a great idea, and he was proving me right. And sometimes,
you know what? I think I could adjust this here. Facino. There we go.
Yeah, sometimes it just happens like that. And these guys, look, there needs to be repercussions. Obviously, he didn't play for like a year and a half, but I don't know if that's enough at this point. Like, just get him away. Do the right thing. Yeah, just get him away.
No, he's a disaster. You got to get rid of him. What do you have do you have anything on the Dolphins? I mean, I don't think we have a Dolphins fan in the stream, but how if the Dolphins win tonight, how do the Dolphins win? They probably win. Actually, before you go, they'll probably, if I all my thoughts are in a jumbled mess. If they win, I believe it's because Josh Allen has a horrific night. That's the only thing I could think of because Allen's going to be in hero mode, like you said.
Yeah. Look, like if he takes more than 10 rushing attempts, it's just not ideal, man. You run the ball 10 times. Now you're taking over 170 rush attempts in a year for a quarterback.
It's probably not a game that he has.
What part of your body are you exposing when you're running? Your shoulder. Yeah. When you're running to the left and you're lowering your shoulder, that is what happened to Cam Newton. And Josh Allen's a pretty accurate quarterback. He gets the ball right where it needs to go. If he keeps leading with those shoulders, things can change. And then, look, Cam Newton fell off a cliff at 30. I'd give Josh Allen a year or two more than Cam Newton, but if he keeps it up, 32 years old, they're going to need to – he's probably going to be old news.
Facino, I have one question for you tonight, though, outside of the football. Can you tell us – because you changed your profile picture on Twitter. Can you tell us all who these two fine specimen are?
I can't remember the name of the dog on the left, but that would be Aria on the right. And that's my dog.
Is that a German Shepherd?
I think she was going for a German Shepherd. She was trying to have looks like she was trying to make lunch out of that thing. But
is that playtime or she's going in for a little bite?
Nah, she's the sweetest dog in the world. She doesn't do anything. It looks so funny, man. I have a better one, but I'm saving it for later. But you got to support the dogs. And although the Jags are playing the Browns this week, I like the dog picks. She's a good dog, man. Just like Draco.
Draco's a good boy. If he could just get along with other dogs, I would love to have a play date. What? So we got nothing else on tonight. You have the Bills winning, or you have the Dolphins winning?
I have the Dolphins.
Okay.
It's going to be close. I just think that on a Thursday night, no defense can prepare for Mike McDaniel. He is an animal. Mike McDaniel probably prepared for both the Jaguars and the Bills for the last 6 months because you have so much time to prepare. So I think that the Dolphins are going to have a really good game plan. I think the Bills are going to be do the best they can defensively, but they're young. Christian Benford's great. But other than that, I think the Bills they're going to have to settle in over the next, 5 to 10 weeks to get that defense really solidified. So if the Bills are a playoff team, they will They will start playing better, I think, towards the end of the year. Not now. Now is where you're going to want to be able to get the Bills. This is where they're vulnerable.
Our boy Will Hickey's got Dolphins winning 27-24. I'm not very good at math, but I think would that put them over? Would that put them over the over? What's 27 plus 24?
51. So
Okay, yeah, it's 48.5.
there you
That's
go.
really pathetic. I shouldn't say that online, man. That is, I couldn't figure out what 27 plus 24 was.
It's tough.
That's why I dig holes for a living, man. That's why you do mortgages and solar panels, and I dig holes, man. This is why.
The numbers don't lie, but I guess they actually do when you're talking about Trevor Lawrence. So, what a
Isn't
great game the guy had.
Isn't the stadium is named after him Sunday?
Yeah, and
It's going to be Trev Energy or something?
Trevor. It's called Everbank Field, and they're calling it Trevor Bank Field for a weekend. So, I think it's kind of stupid and embarrassing
That's
to do that after a
It's
loss.
weird.
but,
It's weird. That's a weird thing to do.
Yeah,
That's a really weird thing.
I'm excited. I'm excited for Sunday. I think that the Jets will right the ship. I think the Jaguars will right the ship. And, that's what it's all about, man. You win and you lose, and it's a league of parity, like we said. And if everybody goes 500, that's what you want.
Yeah.
So, except the Lions. You want Lions that go undefeated. But naturally, if everybody's 9-8, 8-9, that's freaking a popcorn-filled week 17 or week 18. So, that's what you want.
Yes. All right. Listen, good show.
Yep. Asshole of the week, Joe Douglas. And have a good night.
You're going to have to pick next Thursday. You got to pick somebody else.
I will. All right.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you
Take it
all
easy,
Sunday
guys.
morning.